Hello on another episode of the Convo God podcast. David, a frequent guest that I have. It's a pleasure having you once again.
Pleasure to be here, man.
How you been, David?
I've been good. How are you?
I'm good myself. It's a pleasure having you as always. Today's topic is on work and personal life balance. Everyone has two sides of themselves. You have the work version of yourself and the version you present to those that are present in your personal life. How do you know when to activate the on and off switch?
What my occupation is, I'm a physical therapist. And so I work with a lot of patients and I'm in the medical field and do lots of treatment. And so my hours are very unique. And so Monday, Wednesday, I work 7 to 7, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, 7 to 1. And so for me, from 7 to 7, I work. And then right at 7 o'clock p.m., I'm done. And then vice versa. On my short days, when I go from 7 to 1, right at 1 o'clock, I am done. And you spend so much time honing my craft and getting good at what I do is that I'm pretty proficient in what I do. I am able to separate my hours, my working hours from 7 to 7 or 7 to 1. That is work and I don't think of anything else. After that, I go straight home. I eat a meal. I work out, I run, and I just enjoy the rest of the day, whether it's reading or playing video games or watching shows.
Are
And
you
so, yeah, go ahead.
are you one of those people that carry work to your personal life?
So initially, when I was a new grad, that was something that we struggle with. So in the medical field, a lot of people complain about documentation. With documentation, when you're new to the game and you're figuring out like the documentation system, it takes a while to be acclimated and to be accustomed to what the documentation system looks like. And so early on, I would probably say in the first 3-4 months, I did take notes home just because I wasn't fast. I didn't know like how to be efficient with my notes. But then as I've gotten to do more notes over time, pretty much at the 8-month mark, I got to the point where I finished everything right on time. And so I'm actually coming up on my annual year of me of being a physical therapist, which is now that I think about it out loud, it's actually pretty cool that I made it a year. And so I just look back to what I done in the past and I've just come a long way of making sure I finish work on time and then using that time to de-stress, offload, and just kind of give myself some time to myself because my job, I speak with a lot of patients. I speak with a lot of personalities, and there are some people that really takes a lot out of you. But because I love my job so much, it doesn't really affect me as much. But when I get off work, I definitely feel the fatigue, and I just shut my work brain, and I just trying to um, do something mindless, watch shows, play video games or something like that. So it's definitely been a struggle for me to that work-life balance early on, but I would say right now I don't have an issue with work-life balance. I'm able to separate those two and not let it blend together, not let work overtake my my entire day. Like I'm able to separate those two and really have a mental day to myself and really take care of myself after work because that's the most important thing is taking care of yourself after work.
Prior to you becoming a physical therapist, did you know what the work life balance was going to be like?
So naively, I worked at a physical therapy clinic for pretty much 7 years, I would say. And so I was fool enough to think that, you know, I could finish on time because back then I was an office coordinator and a technician. So like I didn't have that issue with like documentation or whatever. And so I usually had no issue with clocking in and clocking out. And so with that being said, I definitely overestimated. And now that, I'm almost a year of being a physical therapist, that it has definitely opened my eyes of like, wow, like initially it was very hard to overcome and be so like putting all your effort because like this is what I love to do. This is I put all my heart and effort into this, and you want to just be good at what you do, and so you take a lot of that time. But you know, I've gotten a lot of repetitions, and I'm pretty efficient at how I capture things and write down what's most important. And so it's been really good mental practice, and always making sure I take care of myself and finishing, and not getting behind. So I've gotten to learn a lot through trial and error, by many mistakes, by endless hours of taking work home and working on documentation for an hour and a half, something like that. But now I don't have that issue anymore.
There's always that one coworker or colleague that finds a way to break into our personal life. How do you know what to tell that individual?
I I straight up ignore. I ignore the text or whatever, and then I will just come in the next day. I was like, hey, I saw your text. Like, I don't want to think about work, but like, I will get to that later. So with stuff like that, I just completely ignore, as kind of a dick move, I guess. But I mean, truthfully, like, don't text me while I'm not working. Like, I make very clear boundaries of, like, do not text me related to work. Like, I am at home, I am out of town. Like, do not disturb mode or something like that.
And does that apply to friends or actual coworkers that you work with?
Coworkers.
Okay.
Because, like, again, my life is physical therapy. My whole career is physical therapy. But usually my friends, if they talk about work, they just rant. And so, like, from that standpoint of, like, being able to have the ability to vent, taking care of your mental health and trying to release some stress from that way, I accept mostly of my friends, because I have a lot of close friends. But if it's like strictly work related business, absolutely not. I ignore it.
What is the difference between a coworker and a colleague to you? So people have their different definitions, but you feel like
Yeah. So coworkers, right? You're in a office setting. You're with a set staff group, whether it's that consists of your boss, your other therapist, office coordinator, and a physical therapist technician, or sorry, a physical therapist aide. And so coworkers you define in that sense, and then colleagues in the sense of, like, they're someone that matches your profession. So, like, my colleagues will be my boss and my other coworker who's a physical therapist. So just colleagues are people that have done the schooling, they know what you've been through, they're now practicing, and they've seen a lot of diagnosis, treatments, and they have ideas. And so I would separate co-workers and colleagues in that sense, whereas co-workers is just everyone ranges from whatever business you work in together with the people that you work with together in that environment. And then colleagues is where you are in a same particular niche or group of people. So, like, for me, like, my boss is a physical therapist, my colleague is a physical therapist, and so as colleagues we come together, we support each other, we ask questions, and we try to help figure out stuff to help, whether it's provide an intervention for a patient or to just have a better idea of how to better treat this patient, or where to go in terms of, like, making progress or making a progression or something like that. So I think from that standpoint, those are, like, very clear, two distinct definitions of co-workers and colleagues.
so coworker, y'all work in the same building or facility, even if y'all don't interact.
Right.
And a colleague, you interact. There's more formal interactions with them since you see them frequently.
Yeah, so I wouldn't necessarily, like, coworkers, you still talk, like, in the nature of my job, like, you have to talk with all the, like, everyone works in tandem together, and so if one doesn't communicate well, like, the day will fall apart. And so I would just say, like, I guess in a more, like you were mentioning, in a more professional level, I would talk to my colleagues like that. So yes.
Can we ever be friends with our coworkers or colleagues?
It's like the question of, can you be friends with your ex? I don't know. That's a really interesting question. So I can't remember, because I've worked a decent amount of jobs, and I would say that I'm still friends with them, but I haven't, like, touched bases with them. And so I guess just from from my perspective is, I guess you just lose touch with people that you work with, and then they move on or do something, They go a different path, and then maybe if there's a situation, if the coworker did something bad, they or tarnish you, or they try to do something malicious to you or the team. So that could play into effect. But other than that, um, like where I work, I consider all my coworkers and colleagues friends. Like we all like have a good time. We joke around. We shoot the crap. We interact with everybody. It's just a fun environment. I guess easier said than done. I guess it's just my personality of being that friendly and being able to interact with anybody. Because just the way that my mentality is, I always say hey to everybody, whether it's not my patient. I just like to talk to people, and but anyways, but to your point, I would say that can colleagues, coworkers can be friends? Sure, I think it's possible for sure.
I like how you say sure, because it's like the by you saying sure, it depends on the type of personality you have.
Right,
So
right. Like, are they, and then some people, right? So like, now that I think about it too, is that work life balance too. And so, colleagues and coworkers, like, you know, we try to do stuff like after work, like whether it's grab food, play pickleball. Some people don't even want to do that, and like you think about it, and it's like, okay, like maybe being with coworkers, it's kind of hard to not bring work, so therefore they separate themselves from that. So it's another interesting topic that you kind of made me think of, but it's also, I think there's also some issues and some um, stuff related to that thing where people are like work and then work life balance and then home life balance. So that's also another interesting point that you we just kind of brought up together.
me personally, before I move on to the next question, me personally, I do agree with the point you made on it depends on the type of personality you have, but I also feel like you can be friends with coworkers and colleagues, but they have to, like, you got to see something in them because they have to pass levels,
Right.
like levels of trust, loyalty, respect before you introduce them to your inner circle of friends.
There's layers to this, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely.
And
And like it's boundaries, like their boundaries, and then like once you accept them in inner circle, then like you can be like, oh, like we can be friends, we can do this, we can hang out. It's all like a domino effect, right?
describe a time when you took the risk and introduced a coworker or colleague in your personal life and it was worth.
Yeah. So um again, I center myself with physical therapy. Just it's just something that I'm passionate about. And so when I was a PT technician back in 2019, I worked at West Cobb in Marietta, and the physical therapist at the time that I was working with soon became my boss. And so me and him, we worked really well together. We worked through the pandemic before I got laid off, and we just kept in touch. And with him, I started to bring him out to basketball. You may have met him. His name is Anthony.
But
But
how did you trust him on that level to where you felt like he was cool enough?
so it took time, right? So I've worked with him probably 1 or 2 years, and within that 1 year, like once I kind of knew like his personality, he's willing to do stuff for me, and like there's times where like I had a bad day, and like I want to like talk to someone. He always offered me to come meet up for drinks, go to his house, crash at his house. Like it was just that moment that I knew from his personality and just the way that he presents himself, and how like beyond the level of seeing a coworker, he saw me as a friend. And so within a year, I trusted him, and then I started bringing him out to playing basketball, and then meeting my friends, and then it has kind of been a thing. So it's been good. And like we talked about, just kind of peeling the layers and just breaking down the boundaries, and then like kind of accepting the person who they are. It kind of evolves, and then it becomes from coworker to friend. So that's kind of cool to like see that evolve as well.
If you're cool with him, I'm cool with him too. So, invite him to the Convo Guy podcast.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Do you guys still communicate?
Yeah.
Okay.
I talk to him pretty much every day.
Okay. When invited to work events outside of work, you're at the barrier between professionalism and private life. How do you filter out what you say versus what you keep to yourself?
Yes, so that's an interesting point. I feel like I may have been to a few outings for my company. As a physical therapist, I haven't been to like a business outing like that. I have heard stories of people kind of talking about their personal life, and that to me is like an avenue of gossip. And so I keep personal things to myself. Now, obviously, if it's something that affects my work, whether it's like a status change or something happened, like obviously like that needs to be communicated with your team. But in terms of like the professionalism, like you want to stay professional, you want to know who your peoples are, who are your superiors, who is your team, and kind of understand the hierarchy of being presented into a business outing. Like you want to make sure you do your research of who are these people and address them appropriately. And so to that effect, me personally, I would not say anything personal. I would just talk about like my business, like, oh, like, I'm meeting my metrics here, or I'm performing well here, or I'm consistently seeing this many people per week. My outcomes are getting much better. Like I would just keep it there. And then like if they ask personal stuff, kind of like you mentioned, Drew, about just layers and boundaries, I will pretty much set boundaries of where I won't talk about my personal life, but keep it professional, keep it business.
Was there ever a time you disliked or didn't trust a coworker or colleague, but ended up being very cool with them eventually? Like it started off shifty, but you ended up really liking them for who they are?
So there's actually one particular instance where I was working and this person was so lazy. This person was not helpful. This person didn't do her job. This person was texting and shooting TikTok or whatever they were doing now these days, but just not like being attentive to, you know, taking care of their job and being aware of their surroundings. And so I just felt so disgusted of how someone can work like that and still get paid, in a sense of like they just standing there to get paid or whatever. But um, to me, I find that to be very frustrating, because like there's lots of people that works very hard, that works the same wage, and yet there is no consequences for that. I ended up not, I mean, I don't talk to the person. I don't know what they're doing, but I did not have the opportunity to reconcile with them. But just poor attitude, poor work ethic, and not a just a terrible coworker. So
So when a
yeah.
situation like that happens and a coworker or colleague tries to reconcile with you, it's permanently over.
I'll give them a chance, but like you gotta like you have to admit your wrongdoings. And I'm no perfect. Like I make mistakes all the time, and like I own up to my mistakes. But like you need to be aware of what you've done, apologize, and then I'll accept. I'm not gonna be just straight up like, oh, like, you know you're wrong. Like, don't ever talk to me. I'm not that person. Like if you acknowledge what you've done wrong, and you see on your own and you explain it, then I will accept. I'll give a chance.
Was there ever a time when coworkers or colleagues desperately wanted you to pop out on a weekend night?
No. If anything, like when I was young, like go out to the clubs, bars, maybe, like that's cool, I guess, but not really.
So for your profession, once it hits 5 p.m., everyone just does their individual thing. Ultimately, there's no, let's try to meet up with each other.
Not with my particular group, no,
Oh,
because they're like different aspects of life. One's has a family, one's married, one's has a other job, and the other one is young and doing other things too. So it actually works out pretty well at that standpoint.
I know you described that incidents where um, there was the woman you described, was that a colleague or coworker or both?
Neither woman nor man, I won't disclose, but just a coworker.
It
Yeah,
was a
sure. Yeah.
coworker. So would you say that was a time you were extremely disappointed in a coworker?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. That particular coworker was very bad.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
How do you know if you can trust a coworker or colleague?
Work ethic and way they present themselves and the way that they handle themselves through criticism, kind of what we talked about in the past video too. So
Okay.
I think those couple of things are important.
Describe a time when you told someone something and it ended up spreading like a wildfire.
So I never had that issue because, like I said, I keep my personal stuff pretty to myself.
So
Like I'm
you
a,
feel like that's something you mastered pretty early on?
yeah, I if anything, I hear all the drama, which is kind of funny to me. So
Okay.
I think that's funny.
That's good.
I don't know why I attract so much attention. I'm just
Okay.
my little bubble doing my little thing, and then I guess I'm approachable. I
You
don't
feel like that's probably why you're trusted so much because you keep to yourself, so people view that as um, a
trustworthy
level of
ally
trust.
or something. Yeah, maybe I don't know. People tell me everything.
Okay. Is there like a certain day when people just bum rush you to tell you certain gossip or? Because I was assuming possibly Monday since the first day of the week. Okay.
No, just kind of happens sporadically, I would say.
Has there ever been a time you heard unneeded information about a coworker or colleague's personal life that had you stressed out the whole day?
Unnecessary information, yes. Did it stress me out? No, because I don't particularly
Okay.
care for that kind of thing.
Okay.
But it's just like I'm not a big fan of gossip. Like we're all adults here. Like people have their own struggles. People have their own diseases. People have their own mental health and internal struggle that they deal with. So when people gossip like that, it's just to me it's just petty. It's like
Oh,
why?
okay. Was there ever one that just had you look at someone different? It's just like
Yes, but but again, it's all from the gossip. But like it's cool, I guess, maybe. But like, why does that matter to me? Like, it's that person's life. Like, it doesn't affect the way that I function. So
Okay.
I'm not really into like.
Okay. So it's best to keep personal life and professional life separate. But in the case that they're both mixed, because some individuals they just don't know how to separate them and they'll
Right,
combine them,
right.
especially if they're rookies or like inexperienced in the workplace. They'll
Mhm.
mix both. So how toxic can that get if when personal life mixes with professional life?
Yeah, it can get messy. So like, if your personal life affects your work life, so like, for instance, I won't say I won't say who they are, but a person that had a breakup or they're under the influence of something, they show up too late, 2 hours late. They do a poor job. They're not aware of their surroundings. They don't take care of things. They don't do their job. Like it's like a gradual thing, and then it just gets worse and worse and worse and worse, and then it leads to the consequences of losing a job. And so that toxic trait can lead that outcome, right? So
Work snitches, do they exist?
work snitches.
Like individuals who report back to the higher ups.
I haven't experienced such things like that, but
Okay.
have you heard?
Many times, many times.
Tell me about that.
Um, See, the thing is, they'll camouflage themselves.
I've never experienced work snitches, but what can you tell me about work snitches?
Um, I've experienced my fair share of work snitches, and the thing with them is they camouflage themselves as if like they're for you, but then they go report, but you won't know. And it's even interesting how I found out. There's numerous ways that I found out, but they're see this, it's even interesting. It's just it's interesting that you even asked me that because yeah, they're just I wouldn't say they're deceptive, but you won't see it coming. Like they'll try to blend the professional life with personal life, and then next thing you know, it gets reported, but you won't even know it gets reported because you won't end up receiving that information.
You have to have like a third eye, or like you have to be very
Yeah,
intuitive.
like someone has to be that close to you to
Yeah.
even come up to you and be like, "Hey, I heard so and so, and it came from this person, so you need to watch out for them." So Do you feel like work snitches only exist in certain type of workplaces?
I would say that it happens all around. Like, it's not a
Okay.
particular profession that has it. Again, I think my group of people I work with are pretty decent people, and so there's really no drama like that. So
Okay.
I am fortunate to be in a setting like that. So I am very blessed. I'm very lucky.
Okay. So long story short, work snitches, they act as chameleons.
Okay.
How they're able to camouflage themselves in certain settings,
Right. Right.
come to you, make it seem like they're trying to see what's going on with you, just for them to report certain information back to the front office.
Hmm.
And you won't really see it coming until someone that you really like or mess with at the workplace comes to you and just not tell you fully, but just give you the heads up, like, hey, you may want to watch out for. So I've experienced my good share of them. So, and you got me thinking too that it doesn't happen at every workplace. I guess the more professional a workplace is, the less likely it will happen.
But I would even argue, like, again, I really just think is kind of what you and I are kind of alluding to. So it's like the boundaries, the personality, the people. Like, I think it can exist in all forms of platform, whether it's professional, like whether it's a job. Like, it can happen anywhere, right? Again, I just feel like I am very lucky to be in a position where I am successful myself. I've made good rapport and good friendship with all people that I've worked with, and so I just feel lucky to be in such a good place, and for me to do so well, to be with to be surrounded with good people. So I am very lucky once again.
Even though you don't work with work snitches, what do you feel like their purpose is?
To cause drama, to kind of give you the itch, to kind of irritate you, to try to throw you off your game, right? Kind of like a chameleon, right? Kind of what you kind of made that illustration so eloquently too. So you got to watch out for them. You got to watch out for snitches.
Why do you think they do what they do? Are there benefits that come with reporting information back to the front office?
Sure, maybe to get a title position, maybe get some dirt, like some crap like that. They'll probably do some dirty stuff to try to win the favor of a superintendent or supervisor or someone from a higher rank to achieve a selfish goal, potentially, is what I'm thinking of, probably.
We're concluding our discussion of work and personal life. Are there any, for someone that's struggling balancing work and personal life, can you give them 3 tips, 3 advice?
Three.
Hmm.
Oh. Number one, take a breath, gather yourself, and understand that it will improve over time. Number two, talk with colleagues or other friends on how to separate and ask for advice on how they separate work life balance. And three, really make sure to find an activity to relieve your stress. So, for example, my way of de-stressing or kind of stepping away from work is working out, running, reading, taking care of my house, or playing video games. So I would say those are the 3 tips I would give to someone that's still dealing with that issue. And I will say that it does get better over time. So just be patient.
What would you say to those individuals that treat work like their personal life, especially when you come from a certain background, from a certain upbringing, to where you were raised to when you get this job, it's your life?
I would say, passion is everything. Your work life, your work ethic defines who you are. But always make that separation. Always make sure to not let the work consume you, because you are human. You deserve time away from work. You need vacation. You need to spend time with friends and family. You need to enjoy life. There is more to life than just working. Like, we all work 40 hours. We all may have worked even more than 40 hours. We may have multiple jobs, but really, really critical to take care of yourself.
Can you be taken advantage of if you treat your professional life, if you treat your, I'm going to rephrase myself. Can coworkers and colleagues and even the front office take advantage of you if you don't know how to separate the two. If they see that you have no personal life, that work is your everything, can certain individuals take advantage of that?
So for me, whether it's to answer your question, so it's a situation where I'm the only one that sees triples, so 3 people at a time, and so they'll just load my schedule up, even though we're supposed to be a two-person, like 2 patients per hour clinic. So from that perspective, yes, but again, I'm just good at what I do, so I don't have an
Oh,
issue.
okay.
It's I don't have that problem, but again, I've done this for about a year, so I'm pretty efficient at what I do.
Certain settings will take advantage of you, but if it's a passion, it don't matter since it just comes as natural.
It comes natural, and I'm clocked out at my end time.
Oh,
So
okay. David, thank you for this discussion.
thank you for having me.